So right now is prime time for data. There's only two different ways to ship when dealing with international infrastructures, logistics, and importing. When we have quantum leaps, when we identify high income producing activities within our business, we can have large results, large impact, or increase large amounts of money in a short period of time. We need to look for the 20% of the things that can get us the 80% of the results. And the key word for 2024, guys, that I want you guys to have. So what I mean about prime data season is here's Q1, okay? Here's Q1, here's Q2, here's Q3. And by the way, guys, this is for quarter. If you don't know what Q stands for, it's for quarter. There's 4 quarters per year. Now, we all know that Q4 or fourth quarter is the prime time for when sales are really going crazy, right? So we don't want to look at data in Q4, and there's residual that comes from Q4 to Q1. So we don't want to look at Q1. So what does that mean? Right now we're at Q2 and Q3. So right now is prime time for data because you're going to have actual true data, not what we call skewed data. Does that make sense down below? You also have lower cost. Now, lower cost of actual logistics and infrastructure, as well as lower cost of products. Why? Because less people are doing business. In Q4, suppliers are not as picky or as needy when it comes to signing on new deals and getting new clients, because so many of their clients are ordering 3 times, 4 times, 5 times even more inventory than regularly. So in Q2 and Q3, you can, if you're starting a product or starting a new line of product, you can get a little bit more aggressive with negotiations because things are a little bit slower. So we have the data. It's a really good time to look for products and look for data if you're starting out. And then if you're starting out or scaling, the lower cost in terms of products, as well as, I'll go ahead and put shipping as well. Lower cost of shipping. Now, shipping is a commodity-based part of the business. And what do I mean by commodity? It means that it fluctuates in terms of price and volatility with the economy and what's going on. So you have crude oil, whether it's going to be air or sea. There's only 2 different ways to ship when dealing with international infrastructures, logistics, and importing. You have airplanes and you have boats, right? You have sea, you have air. So what happens is, based off the time of the year, we've seen it historically, these costs are going to rise in Q4. So for everybody right now, it is the month of love, but it is also the month of money. If you can find out where you are, right, and where you want to go, all it is making sure that we identify these milestones and these steps so we can get from where we are to where we want to go is fast, clear cut, and as easy as possible. Does that make sense? And you guys have probably, all my old people in here, not old like age, but old people like you've been in our industry or in my world for a long time. You know that I'm an avid reader, and I am a firm believer that it is easier to go further faster than it is shorter, longer, right? Which means, what does that mean? When we have quantum leaps, when we identify high income producing activities within our business or high results driven activities within our life, we can have large results, large impact, or increase large amounts of money in a short period of time. I'm a firm believer that you can make a lot of money in a short period of time, a lot easier than you can make a little bit of money over a long period of time. And a book that I like that everybody reads, if possible, there may be an audiobook as well, is called The One Thing by Gary Keller. And in the book, The One Thing by Gary Keller, he talks about a law or a theory. And if you guys don't know, laws or principles, they cannot be broken once they are initiated, right? The law of gravity, here's my pen. Once I throw it up, it must come down. So the plethora law that was discovered in 1850 BC states that 80% of results come from 20% of the efforts. What does that mean? We need to look for the 20% of the things that can get us the 80% of the results. So the benefit to Asana is identifying where are you and how can we get here as fast as possible. So make sure that you're working in Asana with the CSMs. Their sole purpose within our organization is to make sure that you guys are held accountable, that you guys don't get lost or stuck, and that you guys are in momentum, right? And the key word for 2024, guys, that I want you guys to have is momentum, right? Momentum or energy, all things are energy, and high income is the result of high energy. In order to have high income, you have to make sure that you're not in inertia. Well, what is the state of inertia? The state of inertia is no momentum, no movement, but staying still, right? And we want to make sure that we're in constant momentum and not inertia. So if you ever identify that you're falling into inertia to the point where there's no state of energy or you're not moving or gaining momentum, that's when you reach out to your CSM. That's when you use Asana. We tried to be very stern with deadlines, timelines, assignments, homework, to really make sure that you guys are moving, because it's literally 5 steps. Once you understand the business, find the product, find a supplier, you want to do product development, you're going to launch your product and test your product, you're going to scale your product. There's only 5 steps, and I want you to identify where you are right now. And our goal every single time we hop on this call, the reason why we have you submit the questions is because we want to identify where you are and how can we move you quickly to that next step. Is that fair?